Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I hope every one of you had a very nice and relaxing weekend. I assume that many of you have been working on the prototype, and we will have now our last training for this hackathon, which will prepare you perfectly for tomorrow's pitching session. And I'm happy to host this training. So before we start, I would love to give a quick introduction about the day tomorrow and what will be happening there, as we have two pitchings. If you remember our agenda correctly, we have in the morning session, every team has a 15-minute slot with the corporate partners, which is called one-on-one corporate mentoring in the morning. So there you have the chance to explain all you have done in the past week in detail directly to the corporate mentors. Please note that the corporate mentors already know what you have been working on and they know about the topic, so you can really go into details there. You can do the numbers game, show them also some numbers, some hints what will happen after the hackathon, what would be the next steps there. In the afternoon, you will have a 3-minute pitch in front of the outside world. So there will be the corporate mentors sitting in the jury, but we will be also having externals there. We will live stream this on Facebook, where we expect 6,000 people to follow those pitches. And you are pitching there to an audience that does not know in detail what you have been doing the last week. So the 3-minute pitch on the afternoon, this is what I will you prepare for now in the next minutes. There will also be board members for the corporate partners. So the audience of a board member team also needs a different approach than corporate mentors in terms of content and detail level they are hearing. But we will talk about this in a second. So just to make sure, remember, you pitch 2 times tomorrow, 15 minutes in the morning, to the corporate mentors on a very detailed level. In the afternoon, 3 minutes to the external, to the outside world in a classical pitch format. So now I can't move on with my slides. Let me check what's happening there. Okay, I will try to go to the next slide. I hope you can still see it. So behind pitching, there is a model. Actually, we will talk about 3 different things to consider, or 3 different models today that you have to take into account when pitching. As you may know, Pioneers has hosted the Pioneers Festival the last 10 years in Vienna, which is a deep tech festival where 2,000 international startups are coming from all over the world, pitching in front of a really big audience. We have investors there evaluating the pitches. So just for starters, we know what we are talking about and we know what a pitch should look like because we have heard 1,000 of pitches. But to also give you a better overview and to hear what you think, I would love for you to think about what is a pitch for you. I know it's an early Monday morning, you don't have to speak up, but maybe you can post into the chat so that I understand what you're thinking a pitch actually is. I will give you some seconds for this so that you can make up your mind. And as I can see the chat right now, I would kindly ask Paulina to read it out loud to me what's going on there.
Where?
In the chat, is anyone giving any?
In the chat, sorry. You see, it's about sparking interest. Gunter wrote, and Daniel, your chance to present the core of an idea solution in the short time.
Yes, you nailed it, both of you. You have to catch the interest of your audience because you normally want something from the audience. You're not pitching just for fun. And as Daniel mentioned, you have to come straight to the point. So I think you have a very nice overview already what a pitch is. And to make it even more clear right now, I would like to show you something my personal pitch that I love the most. I think this pitch is nearly perfect, and you could hear it in the Pioneers 19 festival. So I will quickly show you this pitch. Listen to it, make some notes, what catches your attention there, because then we have a better discussion base, I would say. And I hope you can see now my YouTube. No, you can't. So
Not
I will
yet.
just quickly stop and try to screen share again so that you can see. I think now you must be able to see it.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So enjoy the next 3 minutes. This is an awesome pitch.
How many images do you think you scroll through on Facebook or Instagram every day? So take whatever numbers in your head and compare it to 45,000, because that is the number of images a single radiologist is responsible for interpreting every single day. And this number is only increasing, which is really inconvenient considering the global radiologist shortage. And making matters even worse is that as new treatments arise, diagnosis becomes more complex. So much so that a radiologist can spend up to 20 minutes just searching for information to help them diagnose difficult cases. So you have less people doing more work and more complexity. So that's a recipe for delays, missed findings, and high expenses. And that's why we at ContextFlow have developed a 3D image-based search engine for radiologists to help them improve their workflow and diagnose difficult cases. You simply select a region of interest in any scan, and we immediately show you reference cases based on visual disease pattern detection. At the top, we show you the 3 most frequently cited findings from these reference cases, and link it all to reference information useful for our diagnosis, literally putting everything in one place that a radiologist needs to diagnose a difficult case, and it's within seconds. Plus, we can tell them which patients we know have disease patterns detected automatically to help them prioritize. So we decrease that time to search, maximize the resources that they do have, and help them reduce costs. We're clearly in a high growth market. That means there's a lot of players. But what really sets us apart is that we offer a very general solution. So we're searching 19 disease patterns and counting, and our AI will work for any type of scan or any type of organ. Plus, radiologists really like us. We help them diagnose difficult cases, but we leave them in the driver's seat. Now, our future business model includes direct sales to hospitals and clinics with a focus on recurring revenue, as well as integrations with the software systems that house medical images. We already have 4 integrations in place and 1 distribution contract. I said future because we're currently launching our first 7 proofs of concept with our partners in the next few weeks. We're based in Vienna, and our team of 15 includes leading AI and medical imaging experts with over 40 years of experience. And our international advisory board includes the current president of the European Society of Radiology. What we're working on right now is finalizing our CE certification in the next few months, expanding to other organs and modalities, and launching those POCs, as I mentioned. And what we're asking for is 500,000 euros to help us complete those next steps. I'm Julie with ContextFlow, revolutionizing radiology workflows. Thank you.
Okay, so to start here, this is the role model, or it is my personal role model of a pitch. So of course, maybe some of you are not that used to pitching. This girl pitched many times already. She's already an expert in it. So don't feel the pressure here. But I think with this in mind, this is what we at Pioneers understand is a pitch. You must notice that this pitch was to an investor's audience. So she asked for money for external capital to finance the next steps. So you have to adjust this pitch in terms of what do you want for the next steps to go further with the corporate mentor. So it's a little bit a different view, but the steps are the same. So you all may know the Wolf of Wall Street movie. I think most of you have been watching it. This is also a nice photo that reminds me always, like, this is a real pitch. Come to the point, Be direct, be self-confident, and talk about the important things in your pitch. No need for talking around the topic here, and also no time for it. This one is an important one. Why did we put this slide in here? You always have this kind of momentum in your pitch. You have 3 minutes. If you overload the audience with information, then you will lose them. If you be too shy, too quiet, too unself-confident, you will also lose them. So over the timeline of your 3-minute pitch, you have to keep this momentum going of energy level, putting in, putting off, and going with the audience. Close aligned to this is the mimics. I know talking in front of a lot of people makes you maybe feel uncomfortable. Try to at least do as you were calm and show a professional mimic, and don't show your nervous faces, so to say. I think as a starters, this is a good one. And now let's talk about the structure of a pitch. There are 3 models, as I mentioned already, which are important for you to see and to think of. I will again now try if I can walk further here. Yeah, now it works. Okay, talking about structure. Your pitch has in German, I would say dramaturgischer Aufbau. So kind of a storyline. You have a start, you have a middle, and you have an end. Like you learned in primary school, what should be a good story of your past weekend include. Have a start, have an introduction. In the middle, you put the important things, and then you have an end that nailed the point again. So when you think of your pitch, you start quietly, then you rise the drama level. You put the most important points at the climax when you have all the audience with you, and then you try to get off the drama level and the energy level again, and you quietly finalize your pitch, stating the most important point. There is a really nice concept that's called AIDA. You have a goal when pitching to your audience, and you have to be aware of what is your goal there. In our point of view, you have 4 goals. The first goal is getting your audience attention. You may note that the pitches on Tuesday, there are 18 teams pitching. Normally, investors receive, I don't know, 50 pitches a day when they join this kind of events. So you need to nail the goal of getting your audience attention in the first 2 or 3 seconds. If you catch their attention, you have them there. But attention is not enough. You need to raise the interest of your audience. If I hear a pitch and it has nothing to do with me, or I can't relate to it, I will stop listening to, or it will be a lot harder to listen to. So find a point that touches your audience emotion and an argument that causes their interest, so they keep listening to you. And of course, it's nice if they're interested in what you're doing, but at the end of the day, you're selling your technology and yourself doing this pitch. So you want to raise a certain desire in your audience that they say, I need this. I need to work with this team, and I need to have this technology, because I totally understand that only this is the way to go. So raise beyond the interest this desire in your audience heads that they want to work with you and keep on going with you. And last but not least, and this is the most important, you may note if you're working with teams and you say we have to do something here, that nobody responds to it. So direct the question and direct a call to action to your audience. I want you to do this. I need this. Be clear what you need, and don't be shy to say it, because as clearer you communicate, as clearer you are in the heads of your audience, that they understand what you need from them to move further with this idea. Summarizing it, you have 4 goals: catch fast the attention, keep your audience interested, relating to something they may relate to, raise desire to working with you and into the technology, and end your pitch with a call to action, what you need from them to move further. Are there any questions to this concept or any other opinions? Maybe there are other things in the pitch that are, or goals that are important too. So I will give you a few seconds. You could happily speak also out loud to me. If not, Paulina is going to tell me who is speaking to us in the chat.
There is a question, any special tips for virtual pitches?
You mean the mode or the tool how to pitch? Because the easiest way is to prepare a PowerPoint presentation, also as you've seen in the pitch I showed you, and then formatting into a PDF format and then walk them through the slides. So talking and showing slides. But of course, the attention level is increased if you have a creative way to pitch. If you have already a technology and you can share a piece of it in form of a click dummy, there are many tools out there to not only use a PowerPoint presentation, but to use the PowerPoint Plus presentation. So the more creative you present your idea concept, the better it is in my point of view. I don't know if this was the question, so maybe you could let me know if I answered it. Okay.
Not sure. Haven't got any answer.
Okay.
Maybe it was also about that once we are on the stage and it's live, it's a bit different way of getting attention once we are it's online, and this attention is a bit harder to catch the public if it's on the screen. And the question is another, what's the call to action for tomorrow's audience? From Daniel.
I think for every team, it will be a different call to action depending on what is the status quo of your technology. Do you want to work afterwards with the corporate partner? Are you happy now that you joined the hackathon? It was fun and you can now walk divided ways. This is something that you with your team have to decide. I suppose that most of the teams want to go into a proof of concept project with the corporate partners. So they want to develop from the concept solution stage they are at the hackathon day their idea towards a prototype. So my personal call to action would be, what would be the next steps that you need from the corporate partner to walk towards a proof of concept project? Do you need that they think about the resources? Do you need more technical explanation about the interfaces from your technologies to the corporate technologies? Do you need a written commitment? Do you need, this is something that you have to think of in your team, and I think it will also be different. I'm happy to support you in these discussions, but I suppose that we should talk about this privately, because you know we have now here many ASFINAG teams, and I don't want to share the interest of one ASFINAG team to the other ASFINAG teams here. So I'm happy to talk to you about this in private afterwards. Let's walk through the model, and I think it will also get clearer what the certain steps are about, if there are no urgent questions to answer at this point. Paulina, are there any more questions?
No, there are no any more questions. That's why I let you to continue.
Okay, perfect. So now we talked about the goals for your pitch, and now we are getting on the content level of your pitch. Every pitch, and we saw this also in the pitch we listened to at the beginning of this session, there are 9 content blocks to be covered. Don't be afraid. There is a really nice site of Goethe once made. He said, "I'm sorry, I'm writing to you a long letter. I had no time to write a short letter to you." Why is that? It's easier to take a long time to explaining, and it's really difficult to summarize your key information in one sentence and hit it hard with this information. So these 9 blocks, in my opinion, have to be covered in a professional pitch, but not with 5 sentences, but with one sentence coming straight to the point. So the 9 key information blocks are the following ones. You start with a big bang and a one-liner, doing this statement, what you are talking the rest of the 3 minutes in the future. Point 2 is talk about the problem and talk about the solution you are delivering to it. Point 3, talk about the market opportunity. I know our 4 challenges are process innovations. So the market opportunity is more an internal market, and in terms of revenue goals, there are more benefit goals. So what will be the benefit for which key groups within the corporate partners firms? So this is not an external market opportunity, but see it as an internal market. Then talk about the competitive advantage. There are 6 Austro control teams. Why you? Why not the other 5? What is the differentiating factor? What is your unique selling proposition? Talk about the business model. Talk about your team, the skills within your team, and if you have a heterogeneous team, is quite important for the decision also of the corporate partners if they want to move further with you. Tell them what is the status quo, how far have you come within the hackathon, what would be the next steps, and then finalize it with a call to action. I would love to talk to you about the 9 blocks in more detail to make also kind of, to make you understand what should be included in these 9 blocks. So we start with a big bang, as I mentioned, and stating what you are going to talk about in one sentence. This relates a lot to catching the attention. So there is a possibility to use your audience. If you remember the radiologist pitch that we heard, she started with the sentence, "How many Facebook images are you scrolling through every day?" She started with her audience. She asked you, and then what happened with me? I said, yeah, a lot. And then she said, okay, multiply this for, I don't remember, 10 or 20 times. And then you have the amount of images a radiologist has to oversee every day. So she has your emotion because you understand the problem, because you relate it to yourself. And then you increase the drama because she said, okay, and radiologists are even worse and are even more challenged. So she got your attention within the first sentence, using the audience, using the emotions and the mind of the audience, which is a very nice one to start with, in my point of view. So there was this woman in another pitch. She brought a copy of a human brain. Do something different. As I mentioned before, you will have a lot of pitches being a corporate mentor or being a jury member. If you are coming with, I don't know, a copy of a human brain, they will remember and they will come home in the evening and they will tell their children, I have seen today a really crazy woman. She brought a human brain. So do something different. Don't start with, hi, my name is Barbara. I'm working for Pioneers. We have been working in this startup for 4 years and we have done the hackathon and we are so thankful for being part in the hackathon. This is really nice and really polite and we appreciate it, but you just have 3 minutes and you have to come straight to the point. So start with something different, use the head and the mind of your audience and state in one line what is the thing you're doing and talking about here. And of course, there are some dirty tricks you can do, something that your audience would not expect to also catch their attention even more. I will show you this 9 blocks right now on the example of Airbnb. We have incorporated their pitch deck in our presentation today, because then you have a solid comparison of what we expect there. So I really like the one-liner of Airbnb. Not only the slides, a pitch deck and a pitch slide has not much on it. You have one key information. Don't put like 20 sentences. No one will read it, see it in just 3 minutes. Put the most important information to the center. So the one-liner of Airbnb, seeing this slide and the key information, is book rooms with locals rather than hotels. If is anyone here in the call that does not know Airbnb, please just let me know, because I would have to do a lot more explaining. But if you know Airbnb, I think they nailed it in 7 words, what they're doing. So also try this, because we have in the pitch highly technical challenges, but in the audience, we have also not technicians. So try to nail what you're doing and what your solution is about on a high level that everyone can understand. If you pitch this to your kids in the evening before tomorrow as a practice, and they understand, and you increase the difficulty level just a little bit, then you're good to go for tomorrow. So the one-liner should be clear. Big bang and one-liner, point number 1. Then you move on to the problem and the solution. As mentioned, be understandable. I know the problem is technical and your solution may include a lot of features. Please adjust the level of your pitch. For a 3-minute pitch, talk about the problems and the benefits your solution delivers, and don't start with technical explanations about all the features you deliver. You will lose your audience there. So if we take the case of Airbnb, they stated 3 problem points: the price, then hotels disconnect their customers from the city and the culture, and it's difficult to rent a room with locals. So these are the 3 problem statements they have stated, and they're clear and easy to understand. Don't focus too much on the problem, focus your presentation on the solution. So catch your audience by stating the problem, but corporate mentors, they know the problem. So be easy to understand, and then also time-wise, focus on the solution you're delivering. And of course, if we go back to this slide, we have maybe stated 3 problem points and we state 3 solution points. So make sure that the problem 1 bullet point, the solution bullet point number 1, solves the problem. Catching your audience interest and attention, and also to get your audience to follow the call to action in the end, you have to collect yeses, so to say. So if they understand the problem, they relate to it on a personal level, they say, okay, I understand the problem, yes. Then you put 3 points out there what the problem is. They understand, yes. And then you provide the solution. And for every problem bullet point, you have the correct answer, so to say, the correct solution. So they say, okay, for this bullet point, this is a real solution. Yes. And for the next one too. And if you have then 20 yeses and you put the call to action out there, what will be the answer? Well, it will be yes. If you lose them and you say, okay, this solution you're providing is not fitting to the problem, you have a no in your audience head, and it will be, for going on and following the pitch, even more difficult to keep your audience with you, and then that they do what you want them to do following the call to action. So focus on the solution and try to have a consistency, like a red line over your whole pitch, to relate to what you have said before and it's working out and it makes sense, then I think you are fine. And with this point, we start to raising the desire, because if you made perfectly clear what the problem is and you're delivering the perfect solution to it, and your audience has the problem, well, then they will say, okay, I need this solution. I want it now. So this is why you're seeing this girl here, and she's talking about that. She really needs a solution. This is a really nice example about problem and solution. If you see this picture, you will be overwhelmed. There are a lot of functionalities and features in it. And if I go to the next picture, you probably will not remember what was the most important feature here. And if you talk about it to your partner in the evening, you will not be able to properly recommunicate what you have heard. If I see this, it's perfectly clear what the main functionalities are, what this product can, and I will also be able to remember it and to talk about it to others. So make sure that your pitch does not state 1,000 problems and 1,000 different solutions to it. Come to the point, what are the 3 key information problems that you have and the 3 key solutions you're providing. And then your audience will be able to follow, also on a non-technical understanding level. As Airbnb did it, they stated 3 points that are the perfect answer to the 3 problem statements they phrased in the problem section. They have some nice icons there and they have keywords. So if you can narrow it down from whole sentences to key points, it's super easy. Their solution is save money, make money, share culture. And it's benefit they're talking about. They're not talking about in a 3-minute pitch about how is the whole booking process for a customer to come to the rooms, but they talk about what is the benefits if you use it. So I kindly ask you also about talking benefits, value you're providing in comparison to functionalities on a very detailed level. I think I repeated myself a lot already, so I think this point must be clear already. And last but not least, I hope you have watched Popeye in your childhood. Don't talk about the product, talk about the result. So drinking every day in the morning a can of spinach is not very sexy, and nobody would love to buy such a product. But what I would love to have are Popeye's muscles. So if you say you want to be as strong as Popeye, and therefore you need to drink a can of spinach every morning, it's clear and you raise your customers' interest in doing so. I will not start my pitch saying it's really healthy if you drink a can of spinach every morning. So in the pitch situation, think of who is sitting in your audience tomorrow. Think of what results they need. Tell them you will get those results, and by using our technology, you will also get more faster or easier to the solution. So direct your pitch to your audience and what they need to hear. I will skip this slide. I think this is a little bit far. A very general hint from our side, if you're packing everything into images, into a very nice story, it's easier to follow. When you are talking about numbers, technical stuff, you will lose your audience quite easy. And of course, this desire raising topic, it's a stage gate process, I would say. So we have this what is now, and the corporate partners have their problems, but always relate to what could be. Right now, you have to, I don't know, monitor green spaces on an individual level. You have to walk through those spaces and see how the green spaces is evolving. But it could be so easier using Earth observation data. You just have a map and you could monitor this in the future. So raise this desire by talking about what could be in the future and painting a picture in your audience's head of how is the future looking. I think this is also a very general hint: pitch your business, not just your product. So it's not only about the technology that you developed in the last week, it's also about your team, the business, so the other blocks that I mentioned to you before. In the case of the pitch we heard in the morning, you have to think of the investor's perspective. The team asked for money, so they have to have the investors' glasses on in order to hit on the sweet spot for the pitch content. You will have to hit the sweet spot for the corporate board members, the corporate partners. They really need to have their problems solved using your technology. So you have to have the corporate partners' perspective in mind. We are now coming to the next block, the market opportunity block. You saw in the pitch that we watched, they're not numbers, they are just 2 or 3 key informations they put in there. They walked through it really quickly, but they made one important statement. And you will also see this on the Airbnb. Here they said there are 2 competitors out there, and they put just 2 numbers on it. 2 numbers on a slide you can remember. If I have there the whole competitors analysis of 200 competitors, I will not remember and I will not understand. So be short and simple in the numbers game. But of course, provide some numbers, but the important one. So for example, show what could be the market size. As already stated, we are talking about process innovation. So you could talk here about the group of employees, the cost reduction that you could reach when your technology is incorporated in the corporate standard procedures. You could talk about the employee satisfaction levels that you could increase, reducing fluctuation rate while using this new technology. So you have to be kind of creative there. It's not about you are selling a product on the market and you have a B2B or B2C customers group. So also when looking at the Airbnb slide, please remember the internal customer is your customer or your user there. Are there any questions to this? Because I think this is an important point to understand. I will wait some seconds. Maybe there are some questions regarding the user versus customer's perspective in the market opportunity point. Paulina?
No questions so far to this, what you said. I think we had one more question I kind of missed from the previously about these tips about the virtual pitching, like it's more about pitching in person versus remote, like we will do. So maybe after that you could give, or I can also give some idea or some tips how to really do the good pitch virtually, online, because it's different one than just on the stage.
Okay, I perfectly understood. Let's practice for the moment, because we're now on a content level of the pitch.
Exactly.
And then afterwards, let's come back to this and talk about the presentation and the level of engagement.
Yeah, but so far regarding the content, there is no question, and I think we can also during today and tomorrow during the one-on-one session with startups, we can also give a feedback to content, because content might be different for each of the case.
Of course, happy to do so. Okay, so let's keep going forward with the content part. So it's clear. Put some numbers about the market potential, internal market potential, but not too many, and they should be easy to understand and easy to remember. Okay. Now the competitive advantage. Why should they work with your team, and what distinguishes your team, or what sets you apart from the other teams, from other competitors on the market? Why are you special? I think this is a self-explaining explaining point, have some arguments there. Stating that you're awesome is nice, but it's not enough. So please deliver some facts here. It can be on a product differentiation level, it can be on a teams level, it can be on a time-wise level that you already have a prototype because you are a startup and you have been working in a similar field. It can be because you really nailed and adjusted to the corporate needs. So there can be the whole set of differentiating factors. I just wanted to raise awareness that you have to think of it before you pitch, because this will be also a criteria you will be evaluated on. Yeah, Airbnb had 6 points why they are different and what their competitive advantage is. You will receive afterwards a slide so you can take a look at it, and then it will be even more clear what we have been talking about right now. Yeah, this is a picture I personally don't like very much, but competition is good for you. So it puts you in the spotlight. If you use this and you differentiate yourself from others, then you can use this as your advantage, having the competition also on stage. Talk about the business model. I know we have heard an awesome workshop and training from Eric Muckenschnabel, our colleague, on the topic of business model. You cannot put in all the 9 building blocks of the business model and talk about on a detailed level of your value proposition in a 3-minute pitch. So I wanted you to put on a different perspective here. It's about the revenue model. They just have to understand what it is, what you are offering to the corporate partners. Are you, I don't know, selling to them a license model? Are you selling to them the technology? Do you want to have them a subscription model and they pay per use? There are this whole different kind of business model, and this is what you have to state there. So one sentence is enough. As Airbnb says, we take 10% commission on each transaction, and they state like which benefits this could have. Of course, you won't predict the revenue of the corporate partners. This is nothing I would suggest you to go in, but show them like how could be the model between you and them in one sentence that is easy to understand. And I think then you nailed the topic of the business model. The next step is your team. From an investor's perspective, our experience shows that investors do not invest in awesome ideas, but in a middle good team. They rather invest in an excellent team which have all the necessary skills in it and be able to fulfill the task and move forward, because an idea is not enough. You need people to execute the idea. You need hands-on mentality. You need experience in the team. So they rather invest in a good team and give them the opportunity to grow in a project than investing in the best ever idea. So also for your pitch, I would suggest stating the team and what are the skills there. They don't need to hear your CV and what have you done. They need to hear your skills and how you can bring these skills into the future collaboration and why it is important to have those skills there. I hope this is clear, not talking about CVs because it makes no sense and they don't need to hear that. And especially the audience tomorrow also does not need to hear that. So now we are coming to the 3 last points of the content topics of your pitch, coming to an end. Status quo. Tell them, what have you done the last week? What is the status quo? Where are you now? Do you deliver in the final day tomorrow a concept, a validated concept, a data validated model? Do you deliver a prototype? Could you already show tomorrow the function of your prototype? There will be different stages. So state what is the status quo right now. And this is more regarding investors. If you need money from investors, you should show them what you have. for tomorrow's pitch, it's not relevant, and then go directly into the next steps. What is the scope of the next steps? Of course, you will not start a collaboration with our corporate partners the day after tomorrow, because both parties need time to adapt, to say, are the solution a really good fit to our challenge, to our problem, and they have to also think about it. So from your scope of time, you tell what would be the scope until the end of the year, like 2 bullet points, what you would love to move further. And then you build the bridge to a faraway future, and you say the key milestones within the next years until the technology is implemented in the corporate partners' daily processes. So this is the scope of the next steps here, because the partners need also to need, like, what is your direction, suggestion for the near future? And the most important thing, call to action. So you have to be precise on that, what you would need to follow the next steps that you mentioned in the next steps point. So regarding the topic, and I won't scroll back because there are many slides there, we have this 9 topic blocks that you have to hit on with the key message. This is your 3-minute pitch. After this 3-minute pitch, you will enter a Q&A session with the jury. Regarding the Q&A session, you have in the morning on Tuesday a 15-minute session where you already present your pitch. The corporate mentors can take the chance during this pitch in the morning to also give you hints or provide hints what they will ask in the afternoon. So no, you are not unprepared. You will basically know what questions will come. There are no good or bad questions. They don't want to embarrass you. I think if you prepare all the 9 blocks from the pitch, there you will be prepared also for the questions to come, and no need to be afraid of it. And I think now we are jumping right on time into the pitching hacks topic, which relates also to the engagement level. If you're afraid that many people will be there and listen to you, and also critical people will listen to your pitch tomorrow, think of what's the worst that can happen tomorrow. You have 3 minutes. Maybe you will say sometimes, you will lose yourself a little, then just take a deep breath and move forward. Smile and laugh. You get the sympathy of the audience, and they will forget about it in a second. So you always perceive some kind of mistakes much stronger than your audience, because they are not that attentive. They're not looking for mistakes. They just want to know what you're talking about. So don't be too strict with yourself in your self-criticism about this point. When something happens, you just have this 3 minutes. I was a piano player when I was a child, and I was playing concerts, and I had some tunes that lasted 5 to 10 minutes. If I make a mistake, or I made a mistake in the first 2 seconds, and in my brain, in my mind, I kept with this mistake the whole tune, I lost the whole spirit of my music. So the first thing I learned when I was a child is, you make a mistake, suck it up, take a deep breath, and go forward. Don't let this little mistake ruin your pitch. So if something happens to you, accept, take a deep breath, improvise if it's necessary, adapt to it, and move forward. It can still be an awesome pitch, hitting all the important information, even if you made a little mistake. So don't worry too much about this. It can happen to everyone that you land on the wrong side of your toast, but you will come back even stronger. Free speaking, how to deliver a very engaging speech there. If you write down what you want to say, if I do a pitch, I write down all I want to say. I have then 10 pages. Then I start with a text marker, highlighting what is the important thing here, shortening it. If I shorten it, then I start memorizing it, but not word by word. You will be nervous tomorrow and you will not remember word by word what you're going to say. So instead of memorizing the whole thing, which you will sound like a total robot when presenting, internalize. See for every 9 of the content blocks, what are the key messages there? Remember the key messages and then talk freely, which will be also a much easier and natural communication. And as mentioned, prepare, but don't read it out loud. It cannot happen anything worse than people having in front of them a piece of paper and reading to you their notes because they want to make it perfect. You also have to play with the audience sympathy level. Yes, it's important what you're talking about, but it's also important how you deliver the message, the energy level that you're presenting while presenting. Be self-confident. If you talk with a very low voice and you say, yeah, and in the future, maybe we could, if this is given, or we possibly should, this seems really insecure. Get this out. No should, would, or could. We can and we will in the future. So this is your moment to shine and to show confidence, because also the partner and the audience will receive you as a confident and serious taking partner. Yeah, and of course, have arguments and be ready for some questions regarding the argument. So if I am stating something and then somebody asks back about it and they see I have no answer to this, they will get insecure. So be ready for everything you say. Make sure you have also a validation behind it, that it's really like this, because then you will gain the trust from your audience. And yes, you have just 3 minutes to pitch, but don't plan your pitch to be the whole 3 minutes. So you will have 10 seconds left in the end. And please also plan your pitch that way, that you don't plan the whole 3 minutes, because there will things happening. You will start a little bit later, and then you will need this 10 seconds, because nothing worse can happen. Then I have to be really strict tomorrow. So you will have those 3 minutes and you won't have a second more. So we will have a clock ticking. You will see in the screen also a clock stating how much time you have left. In the last 3 seconds, you will hear like beep, 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 and then it's over. And then you will hear a clock or something, and then it's over. There is no, can I please finish this sentence? No, we can expect from you to be that professional that you nail the key message in 3 minutes. So leave this 10 seconds to yourself in your preparation, because you will need longer in the situation of presenting. Use your hands when speaking. I don't know if you observed me right now. I'm talking a lot with my hand and with my whole face and with my body language, which makes your interaction and your energy level a lot higher than sitting like this, also talking in a very monotone voice tone. So try to interact, to use your body when speaking, and of course show some passion when presenting, but don't show too much passion. So you can also overperform. We are no actors here, so just find the right balance and energy level within your pitch. Yeah, there is not much more to say. Rock the stage tomorrow, use the stage, and now there are the last hints regarding the presentation if you use slides. But whatever you show, the same things appear. So try to don't have this slides where is a lot of information on it. You also see me clicking to my slides. I'm talking here with a lot of image and with the interpretation of my audience. So they will not get all the information. So put some bullet points that you want your audience to remember here, and put facts and an image in your presentation. also put the most important information in the middle of your slides, and you can also walk through this links in the presentation that you're observing right now, because you can find some very nice pictures there for it. And try to put try to structure your slides so you can put images and information here, but don't overwhelm your slides. And see again this video. I think the pitch that we saw in the morning, after looking at these 9 content blocks, if you watch the pitch again after this session, I think it will be much more clearer what she is doing here, and she is doing it in a very professional way. So I kindly ask you to watch it again and see where the 9 points are hidden in her presentation. And if you relate to this and adjust it in your presentation, I think you will be delivering an awesome pitch tomorrow. Having that said, are there any questions now regarding the building blocks or the presentation or the energy levels? Okay, because now I can see the chat, I think, but there are no more questions. I can, this first pitch is 15 minutes. Yes, the first pitch in the morning is 15 minutes. So in the 15 minutes, you talk just you to the corporate mentors that you have been working the whole week. You can go into technical details, but of course they will evaluate you, and they will evaluate you based on the technicals, the technical features. But in the afternoon, there are the 3-minute pitches for a greater audience. Yes, you can get the video of the recording of this session. Yes, we recorded it. Yes, I can also post it. Best if just one person pitches and not 2, right? Yes, of course. Because if you have 3 minutes time and you have to do a smooth transition between 2 people talking, you will lose time. So appoint the most inspiring and the strongest character in your team, I would suggest, and let this person pitch. Any more questions? Who is the broader audience for the final pitch? So there will be the corporate mentors, there will be the board members of the corporate mentors, we will live stream this on Facebook, so you will have the employees of the corporate mentors because they shared it internally, and they will watch via live stream. There can be other startups watching, there can be investors watching, interested and looking for startups. There will be also our board be present and our pioneers colleagues. And you will have in the jury also our partners from Primatech and from the EUDC and also from the ESA Business Incubator and Science Park Graz. So also, important people judging you in the startup surrounding. Will it also be judged based on the technical solution? Yes, of course. But you have to make, the point that I wanted to state in this whole session is make yourself understandable. Maybe you have been talking also to the pioneers mentors during the last week, and you see that we are no technicians. So you need us to really understand what you are meaning. And you can talk about technical solutions, you have to, but on a level that the audience can understand and not going into too much detail here. Okay, any more questions? Because we are already over time. What about the first pitch? Should it be one person pitch? One person can take the lead to pitch, but of course your whole team should be there and the experts can talk about their expert topic. So if you have a data expert in your team and you are the pitcher, so you will start the pitch, and then when it comes about to data questions, the data expert can jump in, because in 15 minutes time you have also more time to do transitions between the presenting person. Any more questions? Okay, I assume everything clear. I hope. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I would like to add one thing, Barbara. So about who will be watching you, please share the call and let them know who do you want to have it. Despite the corporates that you will be working, maybe there are some potential investors out there that you want to see your pitch. So you just can share the call that it will be streamed on live on Facebook on the Pioneers webpage, and just share the call and also give it to your family and friends to have a support and feel more confident that you have some people on your side that they are watching and supporting you.
Thanks, Abrasha. This is a really important topic to say. We want as many people watching you and also giving you the stage for what you have done. Not everyone can win a collaboration with the corporate partners. We really appreciate that you invested this whole week, and you, as far as I can understand, have delivered awesome prototypes and solution concepts already. So use this chance to spread the word about your technical expertise to a broader audience tomorrow. Having that said, I hope your solutions are already set in place. It's really important that you focus today on the pitch and how you will present. So assign this task to one person preparing the pitch. Try as many creative tools. Not everyone has to use a PowerPoint presentation. You can show a video there. You can use prototyping tools. Be creative, do some research there. Tomorrow in the morning, you will have each team 15 minutes with one of the Pioneers mentors. You will pitch to us the 3-minute pitch. We will give you a final feedback. Then you will have the 15 minutes discussion with the corporate mentors where you give the pitch, you talk about them into detail. We will have by lunchtime a technical run through. So at lunchtime, we expect you to have your presentation, however this presentation looks, being a video, being a PowerPoint presentation, being, I don't know, the camera on and showing the prototype in a working environment, whatever, having that ready that we can do a run through. And then we will enter the pitch session of the afternoon. I will welcome on stage the team one by one. So you don't have to be attentive on that. Then I will say, okay, now the 3-minute pitch starts. Then you will pitch. In the last 3 seconds, you will hear this beep, beep, beep. Then the clock is ticking, and then you finalize, and then you enter a 2-minute Q&A session with the jury. Then a 1-minute time is given to the jury to do the voting. Please take a look again at the evaluation criteria. This will be the process for the final pitching session, and then the ministry will hand over the prizes virtually to the winning teams. The other important topic is for the EUDC prize. I wanted to give you a quick reminder. You have to apply for this. You can find in the technical, in the Earth Observation and Virtual Machines Discord channel, the guideline how to apply for the EUDC prize. Please hand in your application by today. I wish you a very, very good luck for tomorrow, and we see each other throughout the day. Have a nice day preparing your pitches. Goodbye.